It being 5:30 on Monday night, June 7th. We'll call this meeting to order. This no longer have to read in Zoom because we have to be meeting in public with a full board. The meeting is still being recorded and broadcast through Zoom by PB Cam, and will be on YouTube. Roll call vote. And Barney?
Here.
Bob Turno? Here. Andy Fitch?
Here.
Alan Silver?
Present.
Mohammed Badger is here. Approval of minutes for 5/3/2021.
I make a motion that we accept these minutes as written.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Actually, we don't need a roll call vote. Yeah. How many? We got to vote. We still have to vote.
All in favor, say aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to 5/6/2021.
Make a motion that we accept those as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain? Okay. What was that? No. Moving on to 5/17/2021.
One change, page 3, line 37, needs to be changed to purchasing policy. It currently says P-code system.
Okay.
With the change, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving on. LRP Commissioner appointment. Actually, reappointment for Martine Badger. The paperwork is delivered to you. She has been our representative for a couple of years. Right, I'll give it a minute. And would like to be reappointed. Do I, would somebody like to nominate?
I'll make a motion that we nominate Martine Badger for this position.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain. There is a second position that is open on the council. I think we should fill it sometime before the end of June.
Are there any applicants?
Nobody has stepped forward yet.
Okay.
I want to make sure that we have it.
Gotcha.
This will help get it out there. Okay. Okay. Town investment policy. Have we all had a chance to peruse it? It's town policy number 37, adopted originally in August 20th, 2007, by BOS vote. It has been updated, as I'm told. But we need to keep on, each board should adopt this, I believe.
Fred, are you comfortable with this? It's required by statute and administrative regulation that complies.
Are you comfortable
Oh,
with the
yes.
policy
Oh,
as
yeah.
written?
No problem. I'll make a motion that we accept this policy as written.
So it has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Moving on. Repairs to the fire station foundation. Fred?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, there are a number of, shall we say, holes in the foundation. Since there is no individual line item appropriation in the fire department repairs of buildings, they need the board's permission to fix it.
We had cost yet.
Not yet, no. They're working on that for you now. Most of these have been there a while. Yeah.
It's really obvious that that's the case.
They have funds in there, they have funds in there. Ability to be able to pay for it.
They don't, during our budget, Mr. Smith, the previous town manager, combined all of the building funds into one fund. His explanation was that people weren't always using them, so he took an average and he said he only needed X amount of dollars. And it was so
So the short answer is about funds available.
there. I don't know. There could be funds available. I'm not sure how much we spent out of that particular line. Okay. But I didn't know that. I know that we've did about $20,000 for Park and Rec for the trees and the roof.
There was 93 something, I believe, when it started. Before I asked for the.
So there would be funds. Once again, hadn't looked at what the totals were at this point.
It moves us to move forward on, but we need to have process.
I think that we need, before we vote to do it, I don't think there's any problem that we're not going to do it, but I would like to know what the costs are.
Okay.
So, as much as I hate to table this part of it, since we don't have costs, I think we need to move on. I think it needs to be done.
Mhm.
I agree.
I agree. I think everybody agrees that
Yeah.
Yes.
we do need it. We need it.
Okay. Old business. Police department moved to utility bills. You're on once again, Fred.
Mr. Chairman, as I understand it, there's an effort underway to try to cost out that particular function. And some donated labor has been received. I believe there'll be some charges from certain police department to speak to if we have to. You need to, the board needs to approve all building construction and additions to town properties. Because you are technically in charge of those, particularly the municipal light department, which is their buildings. So you need, I think, first of all, to make a decision as to whether or not you want to use the building apparatus. And if you do, then you need to authorize them to do the design so that they can accomplish that goal.
Moving on to that project, I am not in favor. I'm in favor of moving the people back into the electric department. So the town can be serviced. The town hall is not ADA compliant. People are having a difficult time standing out in the parking lot and then getting into the building to pay their electric bills. It's always not a problem to pay the electric bills. People can go down there, it's ADA compliant down next door here. I'm not in favor of moving any place else. The electric company paid for that building and all the repairs made to it. My stick. I know that we need to do something with the police department, no question about that. This is not the right one.
I believe that this is the right one for the police department. I believe that we can make the current town hall ADA compliant without too much issue. Once the police department has moved, we will have more than enough room for the utilities folks. It's going to be a tough haul, but
Wayne first.
I am not in favor of this move. There's the good and bad to both sides. I can agree with Andy to a point, but the thing of it is, the immediate attention has to be done now to save the electric department. Otherwise, we'll lose. So the immediate attention requires moving him back down, in my opinion.
Well, I don't, this board has already voted on this once. We voted on looking at moving the utilities back down to here. Previous to that, another board, and our town manager looked at having plans drawn up for this, for that side, the electric side to be turned into the police station. The rationale was that there were 2 days available to keep cars warm. They did not have to idle the cars. Things could be kept in better shape. I believe one of the boards agreed with that. I know that I believe I was in favor of turning that into the police station. I am not sure that I agree that just moving the utility clerks back down here will save the electric department. I do agree with the ADA compliance issue at this point. I do think that that would be the least expensive move if there were going to be a move. Other factors play into moving the utilities back down. Some of it is oversight. Whether it's financial oversight or whether it's time management oversight. One of the reasons that we moved the utility clerk up to the town office was because one person, after February of that year, when Linda retired, we only had one person down there. We would now have, in this case, we would have two. But there would be cases of, once again, only having one person when people took vacations. I think that if we talk about finance in this case, I would rather keep them at the town office where they're in the biggest supervision.
Well, I would say that experiment didn't work out so well. And the town people I spoke to very strong in improving, moving back to the town, big office. Very strong public opinion like that. And ever since the move from there to the town hall, we've had nothing but trouble with billing and problems like that. Now we're getting it straightened out with personnel problems. And I think that moving them back where they came from, where they belong, would be a good thing to do. Very strongly about it.
I see Mr. Moore.
Just as some, so you guys can think about it. To move the PD down here, we have to make additions to that, of the new building. So we don't put our trucks outside, the electric department trucks outside. So right now in the configuration of that new building, they won't fit in there because there's two garage doors. So when we spoke with the engineer, they suggested two bay doors on each end so we could back every truck in. Right now, you've got to move every truck to get one truck out. So if we're going to move the trucks that currently sit in that bay out, we need to have a place for them so they're not outside.
But weren't we told that that building was specifically designed to hold our trucks
Well, I
for
don't
the
know.
electric department?
I can tell you they won't. It's a warehouse, basically. You may have been told that by the previous superintendent a couple times ago, but we can go in and tour it. Before you make a decision, we need to make sure everything's,
Before we actually make a move,
we need to make sure the electric department's all set because they built that building because they ran out of space. So if you're gonna take some of the equipment, put it in there, we need to make sure it'll fit, that's all.
Good point, Greg.
So just before you guys spoke tonight.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure we don't make another problem for ourselves later on.
Good point. Where shall we go with this topic?
Well, I'm in agreement with moving them back down here. I think that'll be the easiest way to fix some of the problems we have. Moving them up there has not worked. It causes more problem with, right now, people can't get in to see certain people, they're waiting in line. If we had them down here, only the people for electric department would be coming here, not,
You mean the utilities?
yes, sorry.
Expanded to the utilities.
Yes, sorry. Would be down here instead of waiting in line up there and then running into the other issues. I mean, there would be two people down here, both of their supervisors, whether it be Rusty or Craig or whoever oversees them, they're down here with them. I think we need to move them down here and not the people.
Do I hear a motion?
I will make the motion
And your
It
motion
is-
is,
at this time not to consider moving the PD down to 6 Collins Street.
do I hear a
Amend
second?
that to make sure that we move the utility people down here very quickly. We were talking about this a month ago and nothing has happened.
I will take exception to that because we did have CCS come in to see about rewiring to make sure that everybody could be on the cloud and get the information, and that hasn't come back yet.
But as soon as they're able to get things. where
This
we need
is,
them to
this
be.
is, I am waiting for that
That part of it.
that part of it. And that's also what I said last time. We have to make sure that the Wi-Fi
Mhm.
and everything else can handle what they're going to be doing.
Yep.
And that has changed dramatically as far as the need for cloud storage, dramatically from what it used to be.
So we just need to make it happen.
We, yes, we do have to find out how much it's going to cost.
Well, it was working fine before. So,
Cloud storage, if you get new technology, you have to apply and do that, but they can still move down here and do it the way they did it before until such time you have that storage. I mean, how are they doing it before?
Individual and individual computers and backup to outdated network boxes.
Okay, who's in charge of bringing in the new IT cloud?
It's going to be management. I mean, we have CCS that works for the town, and they're supposed to be getting the figures to get this up to date.
Well, how long is that gonna take? It's been a month. I mean, really,
They can be asked. I'm
dragging this thing on and on and on. We're trying to hire people, we're trying to put it together, we need an electric department superintendent. He's
Yeah.
not gonna wanna be at the town hall. He'll see that we're making progress down here, going back to the function, maybe we can hire somebody now and to run the electric department. I mean, we need to get these things done, we can't just keep talking about it.
I agree, but at times we are at the mercy of waiting for information.
Well, if we have somebody and ask them for information, they don't get it to us, there's somebody else out there that will. Why keep waiting?
Well, we do have a new town manager, and that can be discussed.
Not trying to shovel stuff on
Right.
Fred's.
No,
absolutely
but
not.
we have been through 2 interim town managers. And one of them didn't make any decisions. And as I raised my hand for that one. And one made just enough decisions. And as she told us, she wouldn't be making major decisions. And she tried to keep the train on the tracks.
I'm confident-
So we now have someone who is more dedicated to the issues, and as we can talk about them, we can start getting quicker responses.
I'm confident that Fred can get a hold of them and
Well,
get a decision.
let's
on
move
it.
on.
Settle one issue first.
Yeah, let's move on the motion. I'll second the motion. We'll move on that, and I'll ask the chairman to move forward with, for next meeting, that we have some report on what the progress is. How's that?
That's
Thank you.
Thank you.
fine.
Okay, I second the motion.
And that motion again, Alan, since our scribe cannot just read it back to us,
I'll try to get it right. Motion is to, at this time, not move the PD back to Collins Street. I shouldn't say back, but down here to 6 Collins Street. I feel it's more important for
Okay, so that it's been moved and
Second,
seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Like a vote? All in favor?
roll call, please.
Roll call. Bob Letourneau.
Aye.
Ann Barney.
Aye.
Alan Silver.
Aye.
Nay.
Andy Fitch.
Nay.
Nay. And Eli Badger. There's a name. Moving on. No policy.
Should never be.
Everybody should be doing something. We solved that issue.
Where did this come from? From me.
Okay,
This is standard policy for a lot of cities and towns in the United States. If you have a need to idle equipment and let it run, you do. Taxpayers get excited when they see people pull up and leave their nice warm truck running in the wintertime with the heat on, and they go in for a half-an-hour coffee break. That's where these things come from, in those sorts of situations. It doesn't happen in small towns.
No.
It's a good thing to keep your eyeball on. There are times when idling a vehicle is important. Of course, I look outside today and I see what's happened in the last 25 or 30 years with all of the idling of equipment and all the running of equipment with our environment. It's going to you-know-where in a handbasket. So it's an effort to bring that forward.
so there has always been an issue when that comes up about the police department, when they're doing, when they're doing some function for private companies, like
They're accepted.
they're accepted. And so as long as an exception there, I'll be okay with it. Because they need to leave the lights running, and that,
Right.
run down the battery and everything else. So
I'm on the other side of the coin.
oh boy,
I'm not interested.
as the truck driver, the bus driver says,
No, I'm, this actually is worded basically for our town employees. The way I read it.
it is.
Obviously, nobody's ever driven the plow truck, gone out and plowed for 4 or 5 hours, gone in to get a cup of coffee, and come back to a cold truck. No, I'm all set.
Fred, is this something that required by?
No.
Craig?
Well, with plowing, certainly if I shut my trucks off, they would freeze up and we wouldn't be able to see out the windows. Because the residual heat from the truck would freeze on the outside, and we do leave them running during I have to give the guys a breaks at some point, and it's just an essential. I would say just as essential as the PD. I gotta keep the guys safe, and we keep the defroster on. But we don't, I don't know what the policy says. I don't know if it's, we don't leave it for an hour. We leave it, the guys come in, get a quick break, and we're back out. I would never leave the truck running for a half an hour to an hour. Anyway, we pull it back inside the barn.
Things of that nature are accepted.
Yeah.
Accepted out of the policy.
I haven't read it, so.
I read it, it did have exemptions.
We put our trucks in if we're gonna be done plowing.
Lieutenant?
That was going to be my question. Obviously, we don't have the ability to park under any sort of cover with our cruisers. So we might come in and for an hour, be working on crash reports during that storm. So I didn't know how discretionary the policy was. I was just curious.
Discretionary in the department head part, your employees part, because they get direction to do certain things and they have to do certain things. Police cruiser is like an ambulance. When you're out and pick somebody up, the vehicle has to be warm, it has to be tended to. You can't leave it parked out there in the yard and let it freeze up, for several
Right.
hours and then go out.
I just want to make sure that wasn't going to inhibit us.
No, I don't think it's gonna inhibit you at all. It's just a practical application. Usually has an effect in summertime. I'd like to leave my car running with the air conditioner on. When I come out to get it, I don't.
Okay, Fred, are you looking for any more than a discussion?
Up to the board.
Board member?
Didn't know where it came from when I saw it. I read it.
Oh,
Terrible. Because there were enough exceptions that so the trucks could be left running when you're plowing and the police officers could keep them running when they're doing that kind of duty.
I'll accept a motion. One way or the other.
I hear what the rest of the board thinks.
I'll make a motion that we table it. We can address it again later.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Well, wait a minute.
Okay,
Tabling it gets nothing done. Either yes or no. I mean,
that is where we are at. If we say no to Mr. Fitch's, it comes back for the discretion of the board to have another vote, to vote on it, yes or no.
You can always bring up a table motion and revisit.
I understand that,
Okay.
but we're just pushing things to the side.
This is one of those things that
We do not know at this point whether Mr. Fitch's motion will pass. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
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 I'll go with you.
All opposed, say nay.
Right.
Nay.
3 to 2. We will table it. Moving on, are there any selectmen's issues? I do have one, if nobody else wants to pop up. One is that when are we going to open to the our offices to the public? Right now, the town office is still closed to the public unless it's by reservation. They called in, reserved some time. We never rescinded it before we let it happen. We also have to review whether we are going to say whether we're going to drop the mask mandate in our buildings. That is still enforced by us. It has nothing to do with the governor's decrees.
Okay, well, what's your pleasure on that?
It's the board's pleasure. I probably, when I go into the office, I start out by wearing a mask. Going through there, because there may be other people around who are still susceptible. I don't think that we can logistically ask everybody for their vaccination card. So I probably would, if I had not been assured by people here, I would be wearing my mask. So, but what do we want to say about opening our buildings and the mask mandate that we have?
I think they had to open the building. I think they had to drop the mask.
People who want to wear a mask, more than welcome to wear a mask. We should not have a mandate at this point. The government has declared it's no longer necessary.
As long as
And I've been to
people are
restaurants and
vaccinated.
I've been to functions and nobody's having a problem.
I thought that we should take it off.
Right. I think we should. I agree. Should take them off.
Everybody who wants to get vaccinated can more than easily get their vaccination. If they're not going to get it, it's their choice at this point. So
That's why I still have a mask. Okay, do I hear a motion to,
I will make a motion that we rescind the mandate for mask and open up the town offices.
I would like to add to that motion. Those without COVID shots are encouraged to wear one.
We don't need that. I don't need that in my motion.
No?
No.
okay, the motion is,
Motion is to rescind the mandate for mask and open the town buildings.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
No, I'll go with aye.
Okay. That's what I
Still
had.
thinking about it.
Bob, did you add something?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
that's all buildings, correct?
Yeah, it's
That's all
town
buildings. Ann? Have a selectmen's item that you want to talk about?
What?
There was a question,
I don't think so.
okay? Mr. Silly,
Yes. This has to do with applicants who have applied for finance.
yeah,
I know the committee looked at these applicants, but they were also supposed to be forwarded to the other board members. I have not seen them. I'm just asking if that would be possible.
absolutely. I'll forward them to you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Did anybody else not get them?
That right there.
I'm going to,
They were available, okay,
I'm going to say in reference to the second round of applicants. We had another round of opening the two positions that ended on the 27th of last month.
Got one applicant for that.
These resumes came in May 5th.
some of them.
How far back?
Oh, no, I know, because we had two rounds of, we really didn't get anybody the first time around. So we put it back out there the second time with a deadline of the 27th of May.
Kathy Cashman.
Yeah,
Well, I can't talk about this.
You have your finance directors back out again. too.
Okay,
I'm trying to keep this simple.
yeah,
Yes, Principal.
okay. If there are no other,
Mr. Chairman,
board, yes,
the board directed me to work with the 4th of July committee and
Yes.
take care of all the individual problems. I've done that. They have given me all the information I need. They're in compliance. They are out soliciting all their volunteers to sign necessary forms. They have signed all the other forms and they are sending to us all the forms for the vendors that are coming in to serve materials. The 4th of July committee corresponded with me today. We checked with the State Department of Transportation. They did. They do not need a permit from State DOT to have a road race. They only need a permit from the town to have a road race. That will be on your agenda for your approval at your next meeting.
and 17. whatever it is.
So other than that, they're in complete compliance.
That's good.
That's good news.
That is very good news.
Thank you, Fred.
Anything else, Fred?
Well, you have some non-public
We have
sessions,
some non-public.
unfortunately, that you need to take care of.
Okay.
Under.
Eli, I have some old business,
Old business.
just before we go.
Okay.
Yeah, something about light poles?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got my email.
I got it. I got
Last
one
night.
this morning.
Yep.
With it.
So I met with Alex Ray, and he's okay to use a wooden pole up at the Congamere so long as we move that pole, which is 25 inches from his sign, and put it right in this as the main support for his sign.
Now, this is just a light pole.
That's all it is, and the original plan called for, when we looked at it.
Yeah.
It's like 25 inches away from the sign, and it was gonna look like, out of place right in front of his sign, so I met with him personally, and he just thought about it for a few minutes, and he says, what if you put it right in, we'll take this pole out and put this pole in, and you put the brackets right on there and support it'll look like it's supposed to be there. But at a previous meeting, we had decided to put the ornate poles in, so before we do what Alex wants, I wanted to get your approval to put the original pole in. The only difference is we're gonna move it from here to here, about 25 inches away. So as long as you're okay with that, we'll put it in.
Do we know if there's any power lines or anything in where he's got his post, around his post that your auger
Yeah.
might hit?
Yeah, there's already a service line that goes across to, if you look at right in front of the Baptist church, there's a service line that feeds the colony, and Rob's gonna come off of that.
No, I'm talking about in the ground.
No, well, he has 110 there, which we could use, but we'd have to figure out.
I just want to make sure we're not going to hit anything with that auger.
Oh, no, we know where it is. Rob, yeah,
Okay.
we checked, we have a cable locator, and,
Okay.
yeah. Rob's got it worked out where he's gonna get the power from, but we're all set with power. Yeah. So it's just want to get the verbal.
We should just move to approve the director's motion to move the pole and put it right where it needs to be. It's gonna be, I didn't think it was even 25 inches when I looked at it.
It was, yeah, whatever it is, I can't remember, it's close.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And Alex is okay with it, the engineer is okay with it.
It also saves us money.
It's gonna save us the $3,500. And as you saw the.
That we weren't gonna spend.
Thing is, yeah, you're probably not gonna get yours.
Okay. Consensus or a motion?
Census.
I would like to see it moved and taken care of.
Agree.
We concur.
I hate taking the easy way out in this case. It's okay.
Okay.
Well, after the bricks, I was happy that this was going smoothly. I couldn't believe the problem with the bricks.
And it wasn't really a problem.
It wasn't a problem.
If we just stopped at Alex, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Mr. Welch, I think it's your time
Well,
to bring forward, and as soon as you say that we need to go into a non-public session for 91A dash what?
3, Roman 2, sections A, C, and E.
Okay. This requires a roll call vote. Bob Letourneau
Aye.
and Barney.
Aye.
Andy Fitch.
Aye.
Alan Silly. Eli Badger says aye. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you here tonight in person.